Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. Today it's just us guys. I was talking to my team. We wanted to work on some stuff, so we're gonna just do this just ourselves today, which is totally fine because once again, I love my co-hosts. You know what I'm saying? I love the people that come on this show. But sometimes we need some alone time. You see what I'm saying? I know y'all picked up what I was putting down. Don't worry about that. All right, it's been a crazy week 11 to say the least. We got a lot of games to go over, and we're gonna go through these, okay? Let me just check it myself, got the waves waving at you just in case anybody wants to know about that. Don't worry about that. All right. First on Thursday, the Eagles played the Commanders. Jaden the Eagles won 26-18. Okay, Jane Daniels was 22 or 32 for 191 yards, one touchdown, one pick. Uh, who we got here? Brian Robinson. He had 16 carries for 63 yards and a touchdown. Austin Eckler actually led them in receiving, which with 8 receptions for 89 yards, no touchdowns. But Zach Ertz had the touchdown with 47 yards receiving. Um, okay, just checking that. So for the Eagles side, the Eagles had with Jalen Hurts, he was 18 and 28 for 222 yards, 221 yards, no touchdowns but no picks. Saquon, he went off 26 carries, 146 yards, two touchdowns. Jalen Hurts also had a rushing touchdown for them, which is good for them. And AJ Brown led them with 65 yards receiving. Um, there's a couple things I want to say about this game. First of all, every so often I got to give somebody an apology, and this ain't even from this year. This is from past years. Listen, Saquon Barkley is a monster. When he came out of college, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't think he would be as dynamic, and even his first couple years with the Giants, I didn't think he would be as dynamic. His his addition to the Eagles, you could put up right next to Derrick Henry to the Ravens. And this is a remarkable thing, and he has changed the trajectory of this team. And I'm really excited for this team. Last week, I even told you I think they're going back to the Super Bowl. Um, I'm gonna go back and forth with that. So with the Commanders, as I said, I expected the Commanders to cool off a little bit. Coming off to that extreme start, I think they were a phenomenal team. But Jaden Daniels as a rookie was completing 82% of passes at one point in time. I just didn't think everything about it was sustainable. I remember last year they came off of both of their defensive ends, which is hard to replace, but they have a system in place, and I really love their future. And that Jay Daniels I'm not sure that Jaden Daniels isn't the best quarterback in the division. I still think Jalen Hurts is it, and I think he gets the nod. But but we're comparing Jalen Hurts to a rookie right now, and that rookie has been out of this world. And I just can't say enough about Jalen Hurts and excuse me, about Jaden Daniels and what he's done. But the Eagles, yeah, I think they're catching their stride. I think this is the Eagles that you're going to see. I think they're a dangerous team. I think they're definitely. I was looking at a chat group and they're talking about teams that are that really are contenders for the Super Bowl, and they didn't even have the Eagles on it. And I'm like, I don't understand this, But a lot of people they say they know football and everything, but when it comes down to the X's and O's, I don't know how you're looking. Like the Eagles are just as talented as the Detroit Lions, and they're healthier, you know. So listen, the Eagles they may not do nothing, right? They may not do nothing. Last year they started they start 9-0 and lost in the first round. They may not do anything, or as I kind of predicted, I'm thinking they're going back to the Super Bowl, but we'll see about that. All right, let's see. Let's see. Now that we got time with each other, you see, we're gonna pick this slowly. All right, I'll put my Colts up there. So my Colts beat the Jets. We definitely did. We won 28-27 in New York. Um, Anthony Richardson was back starting. He was 20 of 30 for 272 yards, one touchdown, no picks. Jonathan Taylor had 24 carries, 57 yards, no touchdowns, and Anthony Richardson had 10 carries for 32 yards and two touchdowns. Josh Downs led us in receiving with five receptions for 84 yards and one touchdown. That's pretty much all we got to say about that. I normally talk about the losing team first, but I went to my Colts. Aaron Rodgers was 22 of 29 for 184 yards, two touchdowns, no picks. Brees Hall had 16 carries for 78 yards and one touchdown. And Devontae led them in receiving with 72 yards, but he had no touchdowns. But Brees Hall had a receiving touchdown. And Kenny Yaboa, he had I never heard of Kenny Yaboa. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Um, Kenny Yaboa had a receiving touchdown. Um, this is why I'm even bringing this game up. So Anthony Richardson came back. I had really strong feelings about Anthony Richardson when he tapped out. I was one of those that said I really didn't want to see Anthony Richardson for the rest of this year because, to be honest with you, I've never seen somebody tap out in a football game because first of all, it's such an opportunity and it's so hard. It's so easy to get replaced in football. I'm talking about at any level, whether it's a little league, high school, college, professional. It's very easy to get replaced. Um, so tapping out, add that to people. I want you guys to understand. There's somebody on that football field that has taken injections to mask the pain for something that they should be sitting out for, and they're playing. So saying that you're tired, things like that, is unacceptable. Also, they have brought up maybe potentially film study things. Being at meetings, things of that nature. If you're gonna now once again, he's a rookie. Well, he's not a rookie. He's in his second year, but this is his first year starting. He had a very low completion percentage, and he's not doing all the things that I would need a quarterback to do. If he's going to come back, I mean that's fine, but I think you have to make sure that person understands how much of a privilege this is and how much your team is relying on you. And I don't think that as a head coach you should be relying on a rookie quarterback. But we're in a league right now that is absolutely doing just that. Um but you can't do that. And we'll see if it's too little, too late. We're 5-6 right now. Um, we'll see if it's too little, too late, but we'll keep an eye on stuff. But I know this upcoming week we got the Detroit Lions. I'm not sure about that one. But we'll see what happens as we go on. Okay, so the Green Bay Packers ended up beating the the Chicago Bears 20-19. Let's go to the Bears. Caleb Williams, he was 23 of 31 for 231 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. DeAndre Swift led him in rushing with 71 yards, and he had one touchdown. And Rashawn Johnson also had a rushing touchdown. Roma Dunze led him in receiving with 65 yards, and DJ Moore had 62 yards. The Packers. Jordan Love, he was 13 and 17 for 261 yards, one touchdown, one pick. Josh Jacobs had 18 carries for 76 yards, one touchdown. Jordan Love also had a rushing touchdown. And Christian Watson went off. He had four receptions, 150 yards, but no touchdowns. And Jaden Reed had a touchdown. So for the Packers, I definitely think that I put them back in the playoffs. At 7-3, they're going to be a hard out. You know, when it comes to the Bears, I'll give them one more week. If they lose this upcoming week, then I'll be officially saying, all right, they're done. But they're pretty close to being done. Uh, and I don't think any of this is I don't think any of this is Jaden. Excuse me, Caleb Williams' fault. I don't think any of this is Caleb Williams' fault. I said at the beginning of the season, the only way Caleb Williams won't be successful is if the head coach doesn't put him in positions. Head coach and offensive coordinator doesn't put him in positions uh, to be great. And this is exactly what I mean when I say you have a rookie, you have to protect him. So a rookie, if you want to put him out there, there's a lot of things that they have to grow into, which means today there's a lot of things he's not good at. That has nothing to do with the talent that he has. It's just things that, in 5 years, he's going to be phenomenal at it. But in year one, he's not going to know how to do it. So you can't ask somebody who was at frat parties last year to come in and say, I need you to do this professionally. They don't know how to do this professionally. So you can't say throw a 3 yard out and hit him right on stride and do that, and then make sure that you can hit a dig route and then hit a flag route. That wasn't his game. His thing was way more off script. So his thing has to do more with big plays. You have to be able to run the ball. That's why you need multiple running backs. You got to be able to run the ball. You got to have an offensive line. That's why when people always say, "Oh, you need these wide receivers and everything." No, you don't. He don't need those. He don't need great wide receivers. What he needs is a system that protects the things that he can't do right now, which is throw on schedule, read a defense, know, you know what I mean, and things of that nature, and plays towards his strengths, which are big plays off script. And I don't think this is all Daniel. If you're watching this, I'm telling you, I don't think this is all Caleb Williams' fault, and I think you need a new head coach, and that's just how I feel about that. Okay, guys, we're getting through some stuff. I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at this. You see, when everybody else come in here and talk, they try to overtalk you. We got to talk more. We got to sometimes we just got to be to ourselves. um. Listen, the Lions, they're 9-1. Now, once again, I said my Colts got to play the Lions. They won 52-6. I'm only going to read the Lions stats. Jared Goff was 24 of 29 for 412 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks. Wow. David Montgomery had 75 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Jameer Gibbs had 69 yards rushing and a touchdown. Amon St. Brown had 11 receptions for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jamison Williams, he had 4 receptions for 124 yards and 1 touchdown. And that's pretty much that. Now, the Lions are a scary team. I'm going to be real with you. Excuse me. Do I have to go again? Okay. So, excuse me, guys. So, the Lions are a scary team. Um, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm waiting to see it show up that without Aiden Hutchinson, where their defense is going to struggle. And I definitely feel as though that's going to come up at some point this year, which is the only reason why I didn't pick them to go to the Super Bowl. Actually, I even transparently, I thought they needed another pass rusher on top of Aiden Hutchinson. Then I'd say they could win the whole Super Bowl. But without even Aiden Hutchinson, I just think not having a pass rush is going to show up. But I'm not looking forward to playing them this week. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um. Okay. So then Pittsburgh, they go and they show Lamar Jackson, Superman Lamar Jackson, that they're his kryptonite once again. So they win 18-16. Lamar Jackson was 16 of 33, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Derrick Henry had 65 yards rushing and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely led them in receiving with 75 yards but no touchdowns, and Zay Flowers had 2 receptions for 39 yards, but one of them was a touchdown. Russell Wilson was 23 of 36 for 205 yards. No touchdowns in a pick. It's not great. Najee Harris had 63 yards rushing, and they had no rushing touchdowns. George Pickens had 8 receptions for 89 yards. No touchdown. Wow, the Steelers didn't even have a touchdown. I didn't, So we're gonna get to it, but I was watching the I was watching the Chiefs and Bills game, and that just took precedence over a lot of stuff for me. So I didn't really watch this game, but I watched the highlights of it. Um, Listen, man, the Steelers took away everything that the Ravens wanted to do. Uh, and in terms of the Ravens, like I said, you got two kryptonites. You got two things that you got to prove this year. You could beat the Steelers, and you could beat the Chiefs. That's what you got to do. And believe me, you ain't escaping both of that this year. So we what I saw from this game from the Ravens, we definitely have a picture of the Ravens ceiling because they're not going to avoid most of them teams, and they're going to have to prove that they can beat those teams. So that's here nor there. But for the Steelers, listen, man. The Steelers are the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. The Steelers are the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC, and it's even going for the fact that the Bills just beat them. The Steelers are the biggest threat. With this defense, I mean, this is a very good defense. I'm not gonna call it great. It's not a lot of great defenses. This isn't a great defense. This is an upper echelon defensive unit. And when this offense can put up points and generate points, they can beat you without even scoring a touchdown. Come on, come on, come on, come on. What we talking about, y'all? What we talking about? There's a lot of ways that the Steelers can beat you, and it could be points, it could be no points, it could be field goals, it could be a combination of both, it could be turnovers. Like there's a lot of ways that they're showing that they're beating people, and it's different ways every week. So keep an eye on those Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. All right. Let's keep going. Uh so the Seahawks beat the 49ers and they now split their season series. Um the Seahawks won 20-17. Let's go. Brock Purdy was 21 of 28 for 159 yards, one touchdown, one pick. Christian McCaffrey was 19 carries for 79 yards. Brock Purdy actually had the rushing touchdown though. Juwan Jennings led him in receiving with 10 receptions for 91 yards and a touchdown, and nothing else really from the receivers. Geno Smith was 25 of 32 for 221 yards, zero touchdowns, and a pick. Kenneth Walker had 54 yards and a rushing touchdown, and Geno Smith also had a rushing touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 10 receptions for 110 yards. And DK Metcalf had 7 receptions for 70 yards. Okay. For the for the Seahawks, and I just want to see this in 1 second. I just want to look at the standings, the NFC standings. Um, okay. So in the NFC West, the Cardinals are still in the lead in there at 6-4, and all the rest of the teams are at 5-5. Something's going to have to give in the NFC West. And I don't know. And I'm starting to inch towards something. And I'm not sure. I want to keep my eye on the Seahawks. But they didn't really answer questions that I have for them. But the 49ers just happen to have more questions for me. You see, the 49ers used to be a team, when it came to the front seven, they were beating you. They were better than you in the front seven, period. That's on both sides of the football, offensively and defensively. Offensive line, crazy. Defensive line, crazy. They're not dominating you there anymore. I don't know if they can turn it on. I don't know if they can turn it. on like that. I don't know. I'm very confused right now when it comes to the 49ers because I don't I don't know the picture that I'm looking at with them. And that's very interesting to say. But at 5-5, I mean they're not out of it. I mean any one of these teams can still win the division. The expectation is just because of the team that the 49ers have. I mean, at this point, the only person that's not there is Brandon Ayuk, and he's out for the season. But that's just a wide receiver. Everything else is there, and it's not. They're not dominating the things that we are used to watching them dominate. So, I'm very curious to see about that. Um, but wait, we'll keep an eye on that. All right, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. The Broncos beat up on on the Falcons. the the Broncos beat up on the Falcons. Um, let's just look at some stats. Kirk Cousins was 18 and 27 for 173 yards, one touchdown. There was nothing on the ground. Leading receiver was Drake London with three receptions for 61 yards. This was. Bo Nix was 28 of 33 for 307 yards, four touchdowns, and no picks. Javante Williams, he had 59 yards rushing and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton had seven receptions for 78 yards, no touchdowns. And actually, ironically, the touchdowns came from Lil Jordan Humphrey. These names are out of control. Lil Jordan Humphrey, uh, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and Nate Atkins. Yeah, they really put it on. And I'll tell you, so for the Falcons, we still got to figure out what the hell they want to be. You know what I mean? You could beat the Eagles with an inferior roster, but now you're losing like two straight and like three out of your last four. I don't know what they want to be. This is the same old Falcons that I've always seen. So we'll see about that. Um, we'll see. But this was a very impressive. I'm gonna be real with you. This was a very impressive win for the Broncos. I was very impressed with them, and they look like they're in their stride. It looks like Bo Nix has dealt with his the fact that he is a rookie. See, this is how you deal with a rookie. They have a rookie quarterback. They're not looking at him to save him, but so the receivers, all the receivers that caught touchdown passes for them were receivers that are not their first, second, or third receivers, which means the the Falcons did a very good job defensively of taking away when it mattered their best options, and it didn't matter. That's a scary thing to say about a team. That defense is very good. It's another upper echelon defense. And offensively, it looks like they're starting to click too, man. We'll see what happens with them, but this was a very good win for them. All right. All right. Well, let's go to what I'm saying is the game of the week. Uh, the Chiefs finally lost their first game. The Chiefs lost a game. I knew it was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. I just wanted to know when it was going to happen. But they lost to the Bills. Buffalo definitely won at home. They won 30-21. Let's get to some stats. Patrick, this is the first time all year where I'm saying the Chiefs in the losing category, but that's fine. Patrick Mahomes was 23 of 33 for 196 yards, three touchdowns, and two picks. Kareem Hunt led them in rushing with about 60 yards. There was no rushing touchdowns. Xavier Worthy led them in receiving with four receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown. And Noah Gray he only had 23 yards receiving, but two of those catches were touchdowns. Now for Buffalo, Josh Allen was 27 of 40 for 262 yards, one touchdown, one pick. Josh Allen also led them in rushing with 55 yards and a touchdown. And James Cook had two rushing touchdowns. Khalil Shakir led them in receiving with 8 receptions for 70 yards, no touchdowns, and Curtis Samuel had the one receiving touchdown. So, as I said, so for the Chiefs, for me, this is probably the best thing that could have happened to him. Matter of fact, I think you want to see the Chiefs lose to one other team that looks like they can beat them. This is what you like. This is what you want. I'm, if anything, listen. As a Colts fan, one thing that I learned when your team is just blowing by everybody, they're just far and away. You know, at the end of the year, they don't have anything to play for. That's where things start slowing down for you. That's where you say, okay, I get to relax. I get to take my foot off the pedal, and that's why a team always comes in and upsets a higher seed. What you want is the Chiefs to have to play for something the whole year. So I definitely think this doesn't change anything for me. They know Buffalo's coming. You know, I don't think this is. I don't think this was the Chiefs' best game. However, I don't think the Chiefs have played their best game yet, and I think they have about 4 or 5 performances that we could look at and say, "Wow," So I'm basically saying um, they haven't played that well in regard to their record. Now I feel comfortable taking Patrick Mahomes off of the MVP leader because how are you undefeated and you not the MVP leader and you the reason that so a lot of people say that and they just ignore it because of the stats and I'm like I get it I suppose but whatever I digress on that. For Buffalo, big win Buffalo. This is what you need. Listen, to be honest with you, excuse me. To be honest with you, the Chiefs have routinely been beating the teams that have been a threat to them. They have taken the challenge on and said, I don't even need this, and I'm still gonna beat you. Big win for taking it to your rival. You're gonna have to do it again though. You're gonna have to do it again though. And one thing that I don't like, well, for his MVP case, because I think Josh Allen is the MVP of the league. I predicted this. I've predicted this. But with that said, I don't love that they need Josh Allen that much to win. You know, I just I want them to like if they can figure out the next time that they play the Chiefs where it's Josh Allen don't have to be the leading passer and the leading rusher and score 2 touchdowns and throw for another 3. And that's how it's got to happen. Now we talking about something. But big win. I'm very excited for you, and I definitely feel like they're a better team than they were last year. And this is supposed to be their rebounding year. And once again, when I tell everybody, just because you loosen these wide receivers, it doesn't mean the end of the world. They're a totally different roster now. They're built differently now, and they're stronger and better because of y'all not ready for this, man. Y'all not ready for this conversation. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Y'all not ready for this conversation, but it's real. All right. All right. Now we got the Chargers. Um, Chargers, they were 34. I mean, they won 34-27 against the Bengals. Joe Burrow was 28 of 50 for 356 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Chase Brown was 22 carries for 86 yards, no touchdowns on the ground. T. Higgins had 9 receptions for 148 yards, 1 touchdown. Jamar Chase had 7 receptions for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. Justin Herbert was 17 of 36 for 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. He also led them in rushing with 65 yards, but J.K. Dobbins had 56 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And Ladd McConkey was 6 receptions for 123 yards. He had no touchdowns, but Will Disley, he had 84 receptions for 80 yards and a touchdown. And Quentin Johnson had 2 receptions for 48 yards and 1 touchdown. I don't really have much to say here. The Chargers are going to be in the playoffs. I picked them. I see it. they're going to be in the playoffs, but they're still charging. Like they should have lost this game. The Bengals just the Bengals owe Joe Burrow an apology and the ability to fix this. Okay, Joe Burrow is a world class talent, and he's a threat to like top 10 status of quarterbacks of all time. Like Joe Burrow is amazing, and they've never protected him. Like even in the past, he's protecting. He's getting his ass whooped, bro. Like he's getting his ass whooped week in and week out, and he's getting hit, and it's I don't love watching it. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to say it. I don't have much to say about this game, but I think I think the Bengals they got to get together. They got to stop telling me, "See, this is the," and I just talked about the Bills on the other side of it. This is exactly the other side of it. Now you're talking about a team with with two number one wide receivers on it and no offensive line, and they're 4-7, and they're going to miss out on the playoffs, and they're highly talented. This is why I say this upcoming offseason, you need to come up off of T. Higgins. You need to come up off of Jamar Chase. You need to make teams give up offensive linemen. And then you need to draft more wide receivers. And then watch what happens. And some more running backs. And watch what happens. And I dare you to look at me. If this happens, I dare you to look at this and say, oh, they got worse. Because they're gonna get a lot better if that happens. Because they got the quarterback right. It's not that difficult, guys. It's not that difficult. But I digress. All right. All right. All right. We got through it, y'all. So let's get to these week 12 games. All right. Cardinals, Seahawks. This is for first place in the NFC West. Cardinals, Seahawks. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks here. And the only reason I'm going with the Seahawks here is because I just don't think the Cardinals are like that. They not just we just walk in and we just beat everybody in our division and we sweep divisions and nah, they not built like that. So they're gonna lose to teams in their own division. So Seahawks are one of them teams. I'm expecting that to happen. I'm rolling with the Seahawks this weekend. 49ers, Packers. Ooh. I'm gonna go with the 49ers on this one. And I'm saying that a little bit more out of um I don't want to say hope, but if they lose this game, I don't know what to say about them. You know, if the 49ers lose this game, the likelihood of them completely missing the playoffs, it just skyrockets. So I don't. It's hard for me to see that. You know what I mean, or put that in. Like they just got to get it together. That's my thought. They got to get it together at some point. And I think why not this weekend? You know, that's just kind of what I think. All right. Sorry if you guys hear outside, but you know, it's uptown. It's uptown Manhattan. That's what it sounds like. Um, then we got the Eagles Rams. Ooh. Where's this game at? It's at SoFi Stadium. I'm gonna go with the Rams on this one. Not because I think they're better. Not because I think they're better. I think they just need it more. I think the Eagles have room in the NFC East. This is a hard game, but I think the Rams are going to take this one. You know, I think them getting healthy now. I think they're scary. I think they're the boogeyman. I think the Rams are the boogeyman. You don't want to see them. You just don't want to admit to it either. So we'll see what happens. And finally, we have the Ravens and the Chargers Monday night. The later games are really good. The early games aren't too great this week, but the later games, not mad at them. Um, I was looking at it. I'm going with the Ravens. It's not that it was that hard to see, but I'm going with the Ravens. Um, LA's going to be jumping this weekend. They got two. They got a Sunday night game and a Monday night game. LA is about to be jumping this weekend. Um, but no, I got the Ravens. I think there's a better team. I think they coming off of a loss, they're not losing back to back weeks. They're not. Excuse me. They're not losing back to back weeks, and I don't believe in the Chargers like that. Simply put, I don't believe in the Chargers like that, and the Ravens are coming off a loss. So that's that. That's that. So so yeah. So there's that. So that's also my predictions for week 12. So so I was thinking about who's the real I was thinking over this week. I was like, who's the real threats to really beat the the Chiefs? And I'm talking about really honestly, like that wouldn't surprise me or shock me that they actually beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, and they could be the Super Bowl threat. So it's not just who's the Super Bowl threat. It's who can really honestly knock off the Chiefs and win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? That's who I'm thinking of. So I'm gonna start with the NFC teams that I think if they beat the Chiefs and won the Super Bowl, that wouldn't shock me. So that means they would have to play them in the Super Bowl for all who don't know that. The Eagles. I don't think it would shock me that the Eagles actually beat the Chiefs. I definitely, from a roster standpoint, man, this is a deep roster, man. This is a really talented roster. And it looks like they're clicking. You know what I mean? It looks like they're starting to click, in all the right ways. You know, offensively, defensively, communication wise. It looks like whatever happened over the bye week, Sirianni and Jalen Hurts have fixed their problems, and that's what it is. Um, believe it or not, that's it in the NFC. I know you guys expected me to say the Lions. I know you expected me to say the Lions too. I would be pretty shocked if the Lions beat the Chiefs when it counted. The Lions look like this right now, and that's remarkable. And I'm not taking anything away from them. That pass rush is going to catch up with them, and I'm telling you, that's why they're going to lose to somebody. You heard it here first. All right, let's go on to AFC. Let's pick somebody. Well, let me say who I don't. Who it's not going to happen. Texans, it's not going to happen. The Ravens, it's not going to happen. So I got two teams that wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't be completely shocked that they beat them. The Bills, the Bills just beat them. You know, I definitely feel as though Buffalo is a team. If they beat, like this, could be their year. You know, we'll see what happens, but Buffalo could beat the Chiefs, and that wouldn't be a complete surprise to me. And Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers. I've said it before, and I'm saying it again. That's the biggest threat to me. That's for the Chiefs. I hate to say it like this. I hate to say it like this. For the Chiefs, you may not want to see Pittsburgh. You might want to avoid Pittsburgh. Um, you might want to have somebody else knock them off. um, yeah, I don't know, but Pittsburgh Steelers are definitely that team. So the Eagles. So I have three teams. Basically, is what I'm saying. I have three teams that if they beat the Chiefs and won the Super Bowl, that doesn't shock me. Outside of the Chiefs, I got the Eagles out of the NFC, and then I got Buffalo, and I have Pittsburgh. Those are the three teams that you know what? If they beat the Chiefs, I say okay, but we got to see because they're gonna have to go through them. They're gonna go through them, and they got to get through them. Stop this three-peat. And I don't see it happening anyway. But they gonna have to stop this three-peat. But with that said, guys, see, this is why I love it when we was here. Look how smooth. Look how smooth everything was with us. You know what I'm saying? We love each other, and I know it. We'll bring some people back. We'll get somebody next week. You know what I mean? With that said, with that said, guys, I had a lot of fun with y'all today, man. I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate you guys as we grow. As a podcast, I appreciate everybody that has just been a part of this, has continued to tune in, send likes, comment it. I appreciate everything. With that said, guys, you can catch us on you catch us on YouTube and Spotify for the full episodes. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok for the reels. Guys, we all over the place and we doing the damn thing. We about to come in heavy. You stay tuned. We about to come in heavy on y'all. And with that said, guys, I love y'all. But unfortunately, I got to say it to you too. Cuz you don't know football. I'm your boy Reek. And like Martin said, I'm going to see you when I see you. Peace.